Appreciate you all being here, and Ms., I want to pronounce it right, Nikakhtar?
Nikakhtar, yes.
Nikakhtar. I want to thank you for being here before the subcommittee. We're all very interested in what's going on with trade in Alaska. Our trade, number one, seafood. So I want to shift the conversation a little bit to seafood. The International Trade Administration is tasked with increasing trade opportunities abroad and promoting the global trade of American products, and this includes our seafood products. Until recently, we've had a pretty good story with our trade relationship between Alaska and China. Of our salmon exports, 40% of those go to China. 54% of our cod exports go to China. In 2017, we saw roughly 1/3 of Alaska's seafood exports end up in China. This is about $1 billion to us, so this is considerable. And we just recently hosted Chinese seafood buyers who want to learn more about what we're producing sustainably in our Alaskan waters. So now we've got steep Chinese tariffs on these exports, a pretty significant trade barrier. And this is on top of a loss of market share due to the Russian embargo on American seafood, which has been around since 2014. So we're dealing with that, and we've got challenging import quotas that currently exist in the EU, in Japan, and South Korea. So my question to you this morning is, what specific actions is the International Trade Administration taking to reduce the trade barriers that are impeding the trade of U.S. seafood, both in China and elsewhere, but really because such a significant share of the Alaskan market is with China? Can you speak to what we're going to be doing to reduce those trade barriers and inform me as to whether or not ITA is engaging with the National Marine Fisheries Service in this discussion about international seafood trade and the impacts?
I appreciate that question. I'll start with saying that I used to represent the aquaculture industry for many years, and so seafood trade is near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And I will also say that my husband is an obsessed fisherman, so it's the seafood industry, in large part because of my history, is almost in a way like family, and I take it personally to want to do more to help that industry. I've had some discussions with U.S. seafood producers about their challenges into promoting their exports, and I've opened the door for continued discussions,
So if we have
data.
individuals within the seafood industry that need to raise concerns, you're suggesting that you are one that they should come and visit with?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And if once we understand the specific nature of their challenges, some of the data, then and if it's we also work in partnership with NOAA, for example, and specifically with respect to trade issues, they leverage a lot of our expertise in trade. And so if there's areas where we can coordinate within agencies at Commerce or outside, we're happy to do that. When you walk into the doors of Commerce, and I hate to sound corny, but it says to help, that there's billboards that say, help American economies grow. And so what I can't do is, if industries don't come to my office or to come to Commerce and explain exactly what's happening to them so we understand with specificity where those challenges are, we can't help them. So we absolutely invite, and what I was saying earlier, we absolutely invite industries and companies to come talk to us about their issues. And what I said earlier was, I've never turned an industry or a company away.
Okay. Well, I've got some folks that are going to be coming to you next week. So
That-
we're ready to make introductions.
My doors are always open. I always tell my staff, I said, don't worry if I need to stay late to accommodate more meetings. That's how I understand what's happening. But I will also say that we have foreign commercial service officers who have market intelligence about how trade barriers are preventing U.S. exports. So we work with those mechanisms where we can. But if we can actually hear from stakeholders, industries, and they can describe their specific challenges to us, that gives me more ammunition to help them out.
Well, let me ask, because when we had Ambassador Lighthizer before this subcommittee in July, when we were talking about some of these issues, he said that the resolution to our dispute with China is going to take time. He said China is a longer-term problem, for instance, than NAFTA. The implication is that we just have to kind of wait it out. But the seafood producers in my state, they're kind of watching this trade dispute over technology transfer, cyber cyber threat, and they're seeing them in the seafood industry losing market access for products like, again, salmon and cod, which isn't an acceptable answer to them to just kind of wait it out. And so they've asked, what you will hear from them is, what's the strategy here? Because they're not seeing that this is a winning strategy with China to just wait things out. And they're asking how long they're going to have to endure the tariffs on their seafood exports before the administration acts to resolve rather than escalate these trade disputes. So that's what you're going to be hearing from them. And I don't know, I'm over my time, but if you can share with us what that strategy is, I think here in an open testimony, that would be greatly appreciated.
If I may just quickly say that, with the administration in USTR, they're working on the China trade strategy, but we've always had the open channel to present good ideas to them, which is why, and the Secretary has always encouraged that. And so I'm always happy to hear from industries and develop a strategy that works for them and then present it to the administration.
Well, know that they are very anxious, that time is clearly of essence here. And I'm going to take you up on your offer.
Please do.
And see that these folks have an opportunity to visit with you, and perhaps we might want to have further sit down as well, because this is too important to an extraordinarily significant economy in my state. Mr. Chairman, thank you.